we're pushing ourselves into a new danger zone. At the same time, obesity is at a record high. Time for a reality check. Each week, a Superskinny is entering this feeding clinic and swapping their diet with a Supersizer. Overseeing this radical overhaul in their feeding habits is Dr. Christian Jessen.
I'm hoping this shock tactic will encourage them both to form healthier eating habits.
On the surface, Amy Jo has a body to die for. What she doesn't realise is that if she doesn't change her lifestyle, it's a body to die in. Her seemingly flawless figure is the result of a strict diet and intense exercise regime. Looking good is her obsession, but at what cost?
I see a lot of women like Amy Jo who think they have a perfect body, but what they don't realise is they could actually be putting their health at serious risk.
At 5'7", Amy Jo should weigh around 9.5 stone.
Okay. That's 7.5 stone. Round the back.
In fact, she's a staggering 2 stone underweight.
So you are 24 inches. Come with me. I've worked out that your BMI is 16, and a healthy BMI is from 20 to 25. It essentially works out how much actual mass there is in your body and whether your weight is appropriate to your height. 16 is not ideal.
Oh, that's quite a shock. I didn't realise it was that low.
Why is it like that?
I don't really know. I thought I was just extra healthy and just ate all the right foods, but clearly I don't.
27-year-old events organiser Amy Jo appears to lead a normal and conventional life with her fiancé Andy and her 4.5-year-old daughter Megan. But when it comes to dinner time at home, she's dishing herself up a potentially damaging diet.
If I'm cooking a meal for the other guys, then they'll obviously have carbs and they'll have pasta and potatoes, but I'll skip the carbohydrate part of the meal and just have the vegetables and the fish.
If you've been out the night before, if she's been out and eaten a big meal with everybody, she will consciously go and run down the gym. She doesn't stop, she just keeps going.
The exercise that I do is quite kind of a lot of cardio.
She's always down the gym. She'll drop Meg off at school, she'll be down the gym.
But it makes me feel really good about myself, and the next day I wake up and I feel like I've got more energy and ready to do stuff.
In someone who is as fit and active as Amy Jo, she's actually doing herself a real disservice and affecting her athletic performance by cutting carbs out from her diet.
It's time for a shock tactic. Amy Jo is about to get a heavyweight opponent.
My ultimate nightmare for a diet partner would be junk food, fizzy drinks, chips, burgers, chocolates.
Her Supersize partner, Andy from Preston, outscales all Amy Jo's tiny proportions.
Jump on there for me.
Starting with his weight.
That's about 35 stone.
Andy's thigh is 6 inches bigger than Amy Jo's waist. There's a massive 27.5 stone difference between these two, and they're about to swap diets meal for meal.
How do you feel about sharing now this week with one of these very underweight people and swapping their diets and things?
I'm very nervous.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't know, just because of obviously the portions are going to be a lot lower, the fear of being constantly hungry. But I also see it as a way forward and something that's going to change my life dramatically.
And finally, it's time for Supersize to face up to Superskinny.
Feeling very apprehensive about the whole thing, quite scared, because I obviously don't know what the other person's like.
I'm really nervous at this moment in time. I really don't know what to expect.
Hello!
Pleased to meet you. I'm Andy.
Amy, nice to meet you.
I'm 32. I'm from Preston. I've got 4 children and I've been married for 8 years. Sorry, I didn't expect you. You look really thin. I'm sorry, I'm looking at your wrist. You look so tiny. Can I get my whole hand around you?
Can I just have a look? Can you
Of course you can, yeah, by all means. First impressions, go on, be honest. Shocked?
Yeah, I kind of am actually, a little bit.
I can imagine.
It's just a shock. It's really, really strange and bizarre. I've never met anyone that's that big before, and I think he was quite shocked with my appearance as well, and especially I think my stomach, my wrists.
I didn't expect you to look so midriff, so thin, so tiny. I think her upper arm is probably the same size as my wrist. It was just a complete shock. It's not what I expected at all. I think I'll struggle with her diet, but I think with my diet she will definitely struggle.
The diet swap will give both Amy Jo and Andy serious food for thought. But first, there's an eye-popping surprise in store to highlight the difference between their weekly food intakes to shock them into shape.
You think your diet's a good, healthy, balanced one, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Let's have a look at what you get through for breakfast during the course of the week, all right? I think you had one portion of scrambled eggs and toast, which is good, but you tend to only get through a bowl of cereal, don't you, in the morning?
Yeah.
I want to have a look at what you tend to get through for lunches during the course of a week, OK? It tends to be a piece of ham or a stick of celery or two, doesn't it? There's not a lot that's going to keep you going for very long, is there? Let's have a look at what you tend to have for dinners. So tuna, and you like your soups. I don't really have a problem with all these sorts of foods. This is all good, but there's not enough starchy food there. Andy, what do you think?
That's more like a day, really, than a week.
The average woman's recommended intake is 2,000 calories a day. And with her rigorous exercise regime, Amy Jo should be eating at least 2,400. She's actually consuming just 1,700 calories, so she's under-eating nearly 5 days' worth of food every week. Her body is missing out on vital carbohydrates, something that won't be a problem when she takes on Supersize Andy's diet.
Bacon rolls.
Yeah.
Lots of this milk, so loads of calories in that. OK, nice, buttery, full-fat pastry. Lots of carbohydrate in the pastry.
Yeah.
Yep. Where are we up to now, would you say?
This is my tea.
You snack as well between your meals, don't you?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of crisps.
An average man should be consuming 2,500 calories a day, whereas Andy's getting through almost 3 times that amount. That's a staggering 49,000 calories every week, or an overeat of 14 days.
So shake each other's hand, wish each other luck.
Good luck.
Yes.
I'll help you.
And we're going to go for it from now on, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Coming up, Amy Jo gets supersized.
I reckon I might put on a stone in that meal.
In that meal.
Anna Richardson throws her toys out of the pram.
You know when babies do this? I know why.
And Gillian's on the warpath as she continues her campaign to reduce the nation's rears.
Have you got a tone bottom or not? I can help you get a tone bottom. Stop right there, madam!
Supersize Andy is helping carb-averse Amy Jo to relax about food, and Super Skinny Amy Jo is teaching Andy about smaller portions, and they're doing this by swapping diets. It's their first breakfast, and for Andy, it's a small bowl of low-calorie cereal.
There is a lot less there than I would normally eat for my breakfast, but only time will tell, really, whether I start to feel hungry very quickly. At the moment, I don't feel full.
And for Amy Jo, it's toast, toast, and more toast.
My stomach feels like it's just going feels like it's kind of opening up to make room for all the bread that's going in.
After just one carb-filled feast, Amy Jo's feeling more bread than alive.
I feel like I've got a little bit of overhang here, which I probably have actually. It needs to, it needs to expand, ready for the next load that's going to go in.
But when it comes to oversized amounts of food, Supersize Andy is a connoisseur.
Thanks very much.
He's spent most of his life on a high-sugar, high-snack and fat-fueled binge.
Even as a small child growing up, the diet wasn't the greatest. God rest her soul, my mum, she used to cook everything with lard and cooking fat. You do realise that right from the word go, was setting the wrong diet in place for me.
Andy's love of saturated fat means that crisps form an important cornerstone of his diet.
My favourite food is definitely crisps and snacks, but I do enjoy a good curry and any sort of takeaway food, sort of the wrong things for you. Anything takeaway I love. My weight's really started to have a big impact on my life. And especially with my children, I can't interact with them as much as I'd like to. I want to put that right.
The way I feel at the minute is things aren't going to get better, and I've tried to talk to him, I've tried to chat with him, and I've basically just said to him that there's 2 paths that you're going to take now. At one end of the path is me and the children, and, you know, we want you, and at the other end of the crossroads is a coffin.
But for now, it's Amy Jo who's tucking into Andy's bad diet of a nice greasy takeaway.
I reckon I might put on a stone in that meal.
Amy Jo's cooked up a family favourite, pasta with ratatouille. But just like she does, Andy will have to do without the carbs.
So unfortunately, you can't actually have pasta.
Okay.
Because I skip the pasta and just have have that as it is.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
No problem. It was a big shock when the pasta was taken away. It's not something I would ever have eaten, just because it looks so tomatoey. And one of my things is I don't particularly like tomatoey things.
Just that is just like my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Is it all onion?
How does it feel actually eating that many carbs for you? You don't know.
Feels quite strange actually because I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
I think that actually that whole naan would just fill me up.
Yeah, just on its own.
That's a meal in itself to me. That was horrible. I didn't enjoy that at all. It was just not the meal that I'd ever have actually. I don't think I need anymore. I think I'm done. It was stodgy and just, it was just awful. And I keep burping from it. It was really horrible.
Straight after dinner, Andy heads up to Amy's room to give her a surprise.
Hi. Sorry. It's snack time, I'm afraid. That's what I'd normally have.
Oh, no.
I'm afraid.
You know, I was just sitting here thinking how sick I felt as well.
You know, I could tell when I actually took the snack to her, and it was like a look of, oh no, I can't believe there's anything else.
Oh. You'd seriously have that huge meal and then have crisps?
I'd have them, yeah.
Doesn't appeal to me at all. And it's making me feel quite ill at the moment, because even if I was starving hungry, I wouldn't choose to eat them.
I thought I'd actually fine. Oh, God. Sorry. I've sort of realised that my lifestyle and the effect of the amount I have to eat by asking someone else to eat that and the effect it's having on them, it's really sort of, well, upsetting me, because I'm doing what I am to Amy, and she's having to eat all this food that she physically can't eat.
Yeah, I definitely can't have any more. Just so full up, it's just not going in, and I'm trying to eat all these snacks, I just can't do it. It's still not swaying me towards the whole carbohydrate thing, just because it's just en masse, so I think it's steering me away from it more at the moment.
After one whole day on Supersize Andy's diet, Amy Jo hasn't lost her aversion to carbs. Dr. Jessen wants to demonstrate how her body is being affected by missing out an entire food group. So he's created a disturbing picture gallery.
Come along with me. I've got a little surprise for you here. What do you think?
My legs look really skinny there.
By not eating properly and by missing out on food groups, you're actually missing out on important vitamins and minerals. And with all the exercise that you're doing, your knees are going to suffer. There's going to be a lot of wear and tear there.
By not eating carbs and doing lots of exercise, Amy Jo is wearing out her cartilage. This unhealthy balance can have a catastrophic effect on joints, which can eventually lead to complete replacements being required.
And then have a look at this picture.
Yeah, I can see my bones sticking out.
You've got no fat reserves anyway. If you're working out massively and you're not taking enough energy in, you're depriving your body of important things, and so your body's having to compensate at the expense of others.
Carbs are the major source of fuel the body needs to function properly. Drastic undereating means your body will start to eat away at its own muscle, with shocking consequences.
Have a look at this picture. It's not just your skeletal muscle that your body will start to break down when it needs another energy source. It's your heart muscle as well, and that will make you at risk of arrhythmias, which means the beat of your heart becomes different and irregular, and also this thing called sudden death, where a lot of very, very, very underweight women collapse down dead suddenly because of that very reason. They're starting to digest their own hearts.
Suddenly there was like this light bulb that went off in my head. Oh, it was horrible. It was a real surprise, complete shocker. I never thought that sudden death he would be kind of saying that to me, and because of my lifestyle I need to change my diet because that could potentially happen to me.
And what better way to help her train her body into eating starchy foods than another day on Andy's diet? For lunch, it's double trouble as Amy Jo gets an extra helping of ham and cheese toasties.
There we go.
While Andy has to make do with an apple and a punnet of blueberries.
I've never actually tried a blueberry. Totally different from anything I would ever have eaten before, to be perfectly honest. And my palate just seems so fresh because it's all the juice and all the fresh tastes that are going in. I don't feel full like I normally would do, because when I'm full, I know I've really eaten a meal. So I don't feel like that, but I'm far from starving. I don't feel hungry, so, you know, it's a strange feeling, but I'm quite happy with it.
But Amy Jo is still finding carbs hard to swallow.
The first one was okay, but the second one I was struggling, so I was just kind of eating it really quickly, just so I could get it down me before I could rest and think about it. Otherwise, there's no way I could have had the second one.
Starchy carbs are the body's main source of energy and vital for good health. At least 50% of every meal should contain carbs of some kind. Good examples of nutritious carbs are potatoes, rice and pasta. Amy Jo hasn't always been obsessed with being body perfect. She explains how her eating habits have changed since childhood.
When I was at school, I didn't worry about food at all. I just ate what I wanted.
Yeah,
and
you just look perfectly normal, don't you?
yeah, had pizza and burgers and, you know, normal school dinners in those days. Yeah, food was never an issue at that stage of my life.
No.
This photo's after Meg was born. My arms look really thin and my wrists look really thin. Yeah, it's obviously when I started losing all the weight and stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to get back to here. So
Yeah,
going back to
and...
being a bit more carefree, really, about it.
Yeah.
I just feel like I need to relax a bit more with pasta and pizza and maybe have some chips and not have to worry that if I eat carbohydrates then I'm going to feel bloated and stuff. I want to kind of train my body so that I feel good about myself, I guess.
This team of rugby players from York might be the fittest group in my Ban Big Bums campaign, but these bots are still more than an inch over the national average. So I've had to dig deep into an arsenal of bum-busting gadgets to help reduce those rears. They've all been given these digital lean machines to try out. Let's see how they're getting on. Can you turn on your electrical stimulators, please? The makers claim these gizmos will tone and firm Our Lady's rears by electronically stimulating their muscles to contract while they relax.
It's not even doing anything. I think my... turn it down.
These girls will use the pads that retail at £99.99 each for 30 minutes a day for 4 weeks. Oh, yeah, I do feel it, yeah. So, will my shock tactics work?
I think we feel like you've exercised. You do feel like you've kind of used your muscles.
I'm going to leave you to keep up your bum stimulating till I see you again.
Yes?
Yes? Keep zapping?
Yes.
Keep bum stimulating?
Yes.
Zap, zap, zap. Good, I can hear you.
Yes!
Thank you, thank you. I'll be revealing how many inches these ladies have lost at the end of the show.
It's dinner time for Amy Jo and Andy. For Andy, it's a roast, and for Amy Jo, it's a large bowl of crisps and breadsticks.
I just had about 20 breadsticks and another 2 packets of crisps. Bland and boring and never ending, and it's disgusting. Okay, I'm there. Clear.
Well done again. Well done.
But what Amy Jo doesn't realise is that her banquet of breadsticks and crisps was just a snack. The main event is still to come.
Fully loaded, extra large, heavy load, tasty filled. That's what you always want, isn't it? How do I eat this? I think I've only ever had fried chicken about 3 times in my life.
Amy Jo is embracing the swap.
I don't feel as bad as I thought I was going to feel. I do feel really full.
But she's wondering how Andy's coping with his empty plate.
If I offered you some of this now, what would you say?
I'm not tempted at all, to be perfectly honest. If it was placed in front of me, I could quite happily just walk away from it.
Yeah.
Which is strange, I would never have said that before.
I'm done. I'm finished. Can't do any more.
It's amazing how quickly the body can adapt. Andy's discovering he can eat much less, and by cutting out the high-sugar, high-salt foods, he's rediscovering his taste buds. Amy Jo's learning how to relax and be less controlling about her food.
Coming up, Andy is taken on a mystery trip.
Quite nervous, really. I'm feeling a bit apprehensive, to be honest.
Anna Richardson takes liberties with a serial celeb dieter.
Can I just say, you're obsessed.
I am. I know them all.
Can't believe it.
I know.
You do it like that, or you can get a tablet
Or you get the
form.
tablet form.
And Gillian tests the taste buds of some taxi drivers.
I don't know the names of them, but that's like grapes. Is that grapes? Yeah.
Please don't tell me you don't know what grape looks like, my God.
We have become a nation obsessed with celebrity. Approximately 3.5 million celebrity magazines fly off the shelves every week.
I've got to tell you, I love every single one.
We pore enviously over the looks and lifestyles of A and even Z-listers. We want their haircuts, their designer dresses, their shoes, their boyfriends, and we definitely want their bodies. There's a whole industry guessing how they keep so slim. The latest diet craze to create headlines is the baby food diet. Is it the diet that keeps Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon and Marsha Cross so slim? I'm going to find out. The idea is that I replace 2 out of 3 meals a day for the next week with a single pot of organic baby food.
Delicious organic meals prepared with care using the finest ingredients, just like home cooking. No wonder mums prefer this.
Now, these are not magic weight loss pots. The diet is supposed to work simply because each little jar only contains 82.5 calories, which is less than a quarter of the recommended average grown-up lunch. So I reckon I can lose at least 3 pounds on this.
It sounds to me like, you know, if you give this to babies, surely it's going to be really nutritionally balanced. So, come on, I reckon this is going to be really, really nice. Only use plastic spoons. Stir well before spooning food into feeding bowl. Presumably that's my mouth. Serve at room temperature. Not complete without the bib. Okay, this is a real baby experience. This is a real Jennifer Aniston experience. I'm judging that this is what she does every day. Honestly, that is like I've taken a load of vegetables, eaten them, been sick, and then eaten them again.
I must admit, it's a bit of a weird one this, and I can't really get my head around why celebs might go to such extremes. And I suppose when you run the risk of having all your fat and squidgy bits magnified and printed on a weekly basis, you'll try anything.
I love going through these magazines. I mean, come on girls, let's face it, celebrities looking bad in mags is great. But I wonder how it makes them feel. Must be pretty horrible.
To find out, I'm getting right into the shoes of a celebrity for the day by being papped.
Now, what do you want to go and put stars in their eyes? What do you want to go and put stars in their eyes?
To further my investigation into what it's like being in the spotlight and under the microscope, I've hired celebrity snapper Max Chizotti.
I think we could call these how not to get out of a car.
Not exactly ladylike, is it? Look,
No.
have you ever seen my gussets? And my knockers? God, do you know what? It's so easily done, isn't it? That's shocking.
And this is why the celebrities shouldn't eat in public.
Oh, mental note to self.
Yeah, another one, I'm
Don't
afraid.
eat in public.
And also, mental note to self that when you're bending over, to make sure that your trousers are pulled up. We can say these are slightly cheeky.
Do you know what? Had I not known better, I would have thought that that was a workman's bum crack. There's not one nice picture. If I were a celeb and I was plastered all over magazines week in, week out, and I saw these pictures, I am desperately upset. And I can totally understand why you could become obsessed.
Oh, no way. Oh, that's a nightmare. I'm finding the baby food way of life hard to handle.
That is absolutely revolting.
But for A-list stars, the fear of being papped can mean constant dieting is crucial. At the tender age of 21, Michelle Scott Lee shot to fame as a member of the band Liberty X. Since then, the press have loved and loathed the way she looks, and her weight has been a constant yo-yo.
Michelle, hello.
Hello.
I thought you were learning your lines.
I am, yes.
Hiya.
Yes, you're right, love.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good.
Are you ready for a bit of celebrity chat? I want to know all about you, your diet, your body, how you get thin.
Oh, goodness, okay.
Come on.
Come on, then.
I want to know the truth about what being in the public eye can really do to your body image.
It's a huge amount of pressure on celebrities to keep slim, especially when you're surrounded by fellow celebs who are very, very skinny. I hate being out of the norm, and in the world that I am in, I am out of the norm. When it comes to celebrity, I'm classed as big.
Really? Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I'm not just saying it. I am classed as big. I got not one of my friends is as big as me, and I'm still only a size 10. There's so many fatty diets out there, and I've tried them all, to be honest. And I've done the Atkins diet, the cabbage soup diet.
Oh no! What else?
The best thing I did just before I got married was do not eat after 5 p.m. diet, and it dropped off me. I literally lost a pound every 2 days.
But right here, right now, are you happy with the way that you look?
No, I'm not happy with the way I look. I feel like I could lose about half a stone and then I'd be very happy. But then when I lost that half a stone, I would probably feel maybe just another half a stone. And that's the problem I think that we've got with young women today. I don't think that they know when to stop.
Oh, that is disgusting. You know when babies do this? I know why. Oh. Super skinny Amy Jo has spent a week bulking up her diet by swapping it with Supersize Andy's. She's quadrupled her calorie intake and discovered that her body can handle a huge amount of carbs. It's the final morning of the swap, and it's the last breakfast. Amy Jo is faced with a full English, and she's determined to crack it.
I'm not going to be defeated by this. Won't be defeated by the egg.
And Andy is having a bowl of low-calorie cereal. People who eat a cereal breakfast are less likely to be overweight than those who skip it, as whole-grain breakfast cereals are generally low in sugar, salt and fat. Cereals set you up for the day, and their high-fibre content means that hunger pangs are kept at bay. After breakfast, what better way for Andy to expend his energy and Amy Jo to work off her excess calories than a trip to the gym?
Quite nervous, really. I'm feeling a bit apprehensive, to be honest.
Gruelling workouts are a huge part of Amy Jo's life. She wants to show Andy, who hasn't exercised for 10 years, how to go for the burn.
Feels good.
Energetic is the word.
A core part of Amy Jo's regime is running. She wants Andy, who drives everywhere, to go from tubby to Jim Bunny on the treadmill.
How you feeling, Andy?
Surprisingly good, actually.
At nearly 35 stone, Andy should only walk at a low intensity in short bursts. So before you try hitting the gym, make sure your doctor gives you the all clear.
I actually feel really invigorated. Surprised, and I was really apprehensive when I first came in, but I'm surprised myself. You know, if I thought about walking distance of 15 minutes or to get from here to A to B, I just wouldn't have done it. I'd have jumped in a car, but that was just so, I don't know, uplifting. It was brilliant. I really, really enjoyed it.
After an intense workout, it's time for their last supper, and Amy Jo is chomping at the bit for her burger and chips. After years of restricting her diet, her attitudes to food are finally changing.
Is it something you'd ever think of sort of treating yourself to once a month, or?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have these, because they're quite thin, aren't they?
Andy gets to whet his appetite with a bowl of soup. And there's no holding back Amy Jo.
I'm getting quite good at this. I just had 3 chips at once.
It gets moving quicker.
Yeah, multitasking now. Yes, I'm the winner.
But Andy's also taken a diet U-turn.
You're going to hate me now, but I'm going to shake. I really am full.
Oh, yeah.
I literally
You've had
feel
enough.
I can't, yeah.
Yeah, no, don't eat it then if
Really
you're full.
sorry.
If you feel like, you know,
Yeah, I really
letting
do.
the team
I'm
down,
really,
that's fine. Just
really
leave
full.
it.
I wouldn't have just laughed at you at the beginning of the week if you said that. I'd have probably slapped me for being silly.
I think it's brilliant that Andy didn't finish his food. He didn't. I think he still had about half a bowl of soup left. I just think it's hilarious. I managed to finish a burger and chips and some chicken nuggets, and Andy couldn't finish any soup. It was excellent. I'm finished and you're not.
I'm full, so there we go. We both win.
And I'm not. I'm all right.
After circling London's mean streets, a busy morning's work can drive a cabbie straight to temptation and straight to the canteen. At this London Taxi HQ, there's a great menu to choose from, but we all know sitting on your backside mixed with canteen food is not a good recipe for a lean and mean driving machine.
I've got 3 lunch outs. Boys, lift the lids. Lovely ploughman's, big lump of cheese, coleslaw, chutney, grapes, salad, all the bits, and the bread. Here I've got deep-fried scampi, chips, mayonnaise dressing, peas and salad. And over here I've got jacket potato, beans and cheese with a little bit of salad.
So, if these guys want to watch their waistlines, would they know which of these canteen choices has the highest calories? With my troupe of tight torsos, I want to test if they get the green light for their knowledge when it comes to typical canteen food.
Which platter for lunch has the highest calories?
The highest calories would be the middle one.
The chips and the scampi must be in deep fat, so I'd say that was the highest.
I would think the highest one I'd go for would be this one.
That one, that's the main one we have in the canteen.
How many calories do you think it's got?
6,000.
6,000? Wow. And how about the ploughman's lunch?
And that'll be around about 15, 20 calories.
I think the one with the salad's probably the healthiest of a lot, less calorie, although it's got a chunk of cheese.
The one with the salad must be the most healthiest one.
The salad in each of these, though. Salad
Yeah,
here,
but
salad
they've got a better variety of salads.
Really? Like what?
Yeah. I don't know the names of them, but that's like grapes. Is that grapes? Yeah,
Please
see,
don't
the
tell me you don't know what a grape
apples.
looks like. My
No,
God. My God. After chatting with the London cabbies, 68% of them think that the scampi and fried chips is the highest in calories. Are they right?
They were so wrong. The ploughman's lunch may look like a healthy option, but tuck into this and you're looking at around 1,087 calories. Just 100 grams of this cheddar cheese contains 411 calories. For that, you could have 2 roasted chicken breasts with your ploughman's, or 16 slices of ham, or 140 pickled onions.
In all honesty, I would never have ever believed that it was. I would have thought that the fat in the chips and the scampi was much higher. You've shocked me now.
This deep-fried scampi is roughly 947 calories, a really high-calorie option. But don't despair, you can still enjoy your fish. And to save you trawling, I've found a few other options that won't have you tipping the scales. The winner and best lunch out is the humble spud with cheese and beans totaling 711 calories. The jacket potato and beans are a great source of fibre, but my advice would be don't go mad on the cheese.
Does any of these men go with each other?
It could be arranged.
Oh, all right. But don't get any ideas, though. My wife gets jealous.
With Gillian giving the nation a wake-up call on calories, it's also been a rousing week in the diet swap. Andy and Amy Jo are about to say goodbye and go home to start their 3-month plans. But before they do, there's one last meeting with Dr. Jessen.
If you were going to give AJ one useful bit of advice to go off with now and really succeed in what she's trying to do, what would it be?
Really, just not to be afraid of food, just to enjoy it, because it'll enhance your life as well.
Yeah.
And what about you? What would you like to say to Andy to help him now?
Same kind of thing, really. Don't be kind of scared about trying different, flavours, and just keep up the exercise, and you can do it.
Do you think you will do it?
Definitely.
I've got for you, Andy, your diet plan that's all been worked out for you, and this is what you're going to be on for the next 3 months.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and that's your one. Right. There's no ridiculous exclusions. It's not some crazy fatty diet. You can eat what you like. You just need to be careful about how much of various things you're eating. Now you've got to go off and you've got to do this for yourselves. Okay, and this is where it gets hard. This is where you've got to have the self-discipline. So I don't want you to fail after this. I will be so disappointed. Stick to it. And when I see you in 3 months, I really want to see big changes in both of you. Okay, guys? So please don't let me down.
This experience probably has changed my life quite a bit, actually, because I'm really excited about going home and doing my new diet and eating practically what I like, really what I want to eat, and I can have some crisps, and I know it's not going to have a huge impact on me because I've had about 20 bags of crisps this week and it's been all right. I think Andy is just a changed man. He's just gone from having 7,000 calories to 1,700 calories. and he hasn't moaned.
I really do feel that this experiment has saved my life. I feel much more positive about the future. I'm looking forward to getting home, putting everything into practice and moving on with my life and making it better for everyone.
Andy and Amy Jo have both thrown themselves into the swap with gusto, but their journey is only just beginning. Coming up, it's 3 months down the line and Andy and Amy Jo get back on the scales for their final weigh-in.
And now, you are...
Has Gillian electric shocked her rears into shape? And has Anna discovered the ultimate slimming secret? Ta-da! Suddenly instant, slim size 12. There is a reason why babies are sick. It's this. They don't want to eat it anymore. And we're trying to shove it into their faces and they don't want it. And neither do I. I'm sure it's fine for nippers, but I think it's disgusting. I've been on the baby food diet for 5 days and I've lost 2 pounds, which is amazing, given that I'm so constipated. If I carry on at this rate, I'd be lucky if I did 1 poo a year. Oh, see, my tummy really hurts. Seriously, please go away. Please go away. Okay, me and baby food. It's over! Finished. Please, somebody, phone up Jennifer Aniston and tell her. It's not enough food. Not all celebs are obsessed with crazy diets. Some choose that old-fashioned slimming trick of wearing big knickers. I can't be sure Katie, Kate and Kimberly are wearing the same pants as these, but I'm sure as hell hoping they'll have the same effect. You may think that these pants are the pants of a 6-year-old, but believe you me, they can be squeezed onto a 37-year-old mature silhouette. Are you ready? Trying to get into a wetsuit. Ta-da! Suddenly instant, slim size 12. Sort of. But I'm not finished with my slimming quest yet. Over the next few weeks, I'll be investigating the power of the mind over weight loss. I'll be jetting off to New York to get the latest fat-busting techniques from across the pond. And I'll find out what happens when extreme dieting goes wrong.
It's 4 weeks since I left my porky Yorkies with their shocking rear-reducing technique. But how did they do? Well, they're looking tight, toned and ready for the scrum.
That's a definite improvement. Quite good.
But what does the all-important tape measure reveal?
Ladies of York, you have lost in total of 13.5 inches. With the average bum loss coming in at 1.04 inches, ladies.
What a bummer of a result. That puts them bottom of the league. Oh dear. And watch out, there's stiff competition next week when the ladies from the South Coast get their marching orders.
Superskinny Amy Jo was doing her body untold damage with a combination of rigorous exercise and a carb-free diet. But now it's time to find out if 3 months of proper healthy eating has made a difference.
Hey, Amy Jo, how are you? Lovely to see you. How's it going?
It's all been going really well, yeah, it's brilliant.
Can we get you weighed first of all, straight away?
Yep,
yeah.
okay.
Get your dressing gown off for me.
Well, Amy Jo certainly looks fantastic. But has she managed to get herself up to a more healthy weight?
Hey, how are you? You look wonderful.
Amy Jo's reunited with diet swap partner Andy to share the results.
You look really well.
Do I?
Yeah, you do, yeah. You don't, you can't say yet. Oh, you look brilliant. Well done.
So do you, I can see your shoulders. Oh, it's brilliant.
I'm going to put you out of your misery and talk to you about how you've done. Do you remember how much you weighed when we first met?
Just over 7.5 stone.
It was. It's 7 stone 7. And now, you are 7 stone 12.
Am I?
You really are.
Brilliant.
You've put on 5 pounds.
Oh, excellent.
So it really is working.
She's also put on 3 inches round the waist and an 1.5 inches round the thigh, which means she's now got a figure to be really proud of.
Now you're so much more curvaceous. You've got that very beautiful feminine figure, and I'm really excited because I was worried about you, and you've done it, so I'm delighted.
Andy has learnt how to enjoy new healthy types of food, but is his new diet reflected in the weighing scales?
Remember what you weighed?
Yeah, it was
What?
34 stone 8.
Now, You're 31 stone 5.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's brilliant.
You have lost 3 stone and 3 pounds.
That's just wonderful.
Are you happy?
I'm over the moon, yeah.
Do you know what the biggest difference for me is? Look at that smile on his face.
You're glowing.
To be honest, no, I don't even recognise myself when I look back 3 months ago as to the Andy I was. That's not me. That's just something in a dark past that didn't exist anymore. The new Andy is alive. Really looking forward to every day. It's just been a complete revelation. I don't eat the things that I used to eat all the crisp I've not touched since the day I left the house. So yeah, it just makes me feel wonderful that I've chosen the right path and I'm just going to continue along it.
It just made a huge impact on my life as well. I've got loads more energy. I went running the other day and I kind of run for about an hour and a half. And there's no way I could have done that before. I do feel like I'm more womanly. My boobs they're huge. That's the best bit about it. It's all gone on my boobs. I think the weight, the 5 pounds has gone into these little bad boys. It's quite good.
I think we've really proven a point with Amy Jo that carbs are not all bad. By relaxing her diet, she's able to run further than she's ever done before, and she looks fantastic.
If you're affected by any issues raised in this programme and would like more info, then log on to www.channel4.co.uk/health. Next week.
I am really hungry, but it's okay, because I've got my lunch.
Anna Richardson swaps her diet for a pill.
Okay, it's not going to work.
And going head-to-head in the most extreme diet swap yet, a radical undereater on a quest for eternal youth.
From a very young age, I've always said that I was never getting old.
Swaps diets with a milkman who eats enough for 4 grown men.
That is the highest body mass I have ever seen. You ain't gonna make 40.